You just made the list!
Say hello to my little friend! Say hello to my little friend!
Stop playing with us. Stop playing with us.
We're gonna bite a kneecap off. We're gonna bite a kneecap off. We're gonna bite a kneecap off.
It's my quarterback. It's my quarterback.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Lion Villain Report, where we don't sugarcoat a damn thing. I am the 313 villain, Russell Wayne. I am the UDFA of sports podcasting, the unwanted, no draft type, no silver spoon, just a super fan with a microphone talking about his favorite Detroit sports teams. You don't have to like me, but you're damn sure gonna feel me. It's Humpday Villains. We got a loaded slate today. Bengals versus Lions preview. Tigers striking first. First blood against the Guardians. And the latest injury smoke coming out of Allen Park. Buckle up, because we're about to run straight through it. This episode is brought to you by Fanatics.com. That's right. If you're rocking with the 313, if you bleed Honolulu blue, then you need to gear up like the real one over at Fanatics, our official merch partner. I'm talking Lions jerseys, blackout hoodies, throwback Tigers gear, WWE gear, Red Wings strip so icy that it should come with a Zamboni. Here's what you do. You click that link in the description right there. Save up to 25% off of your order. Every click supports the channel, the page, and lets the world know the Detroit fans do it bigger and they do it better. Villain Squad don't do knockoffs. We do official. We do Fanatics. Get yours. So Detroit Villain Squad, we are at 83,000 strong, storming a castle of 100,000 followers. Thank you to those that are supporting the page by following the Villain Squad. And if you're on YouTube, we're chasing our first 1,000. We're counting down. I think we're under 5 now. 5 more people. You could be the 1,000th subscriber to the YouTube channel. We're taking it serious now. Get it in there. Like, comment, any way that you're helping us out right there by supporting the page, especially if you're commenting with your questions, your thoughts, and your concerns. We appreciate you. If you're on YouTube, X, TikTok, wherever you scroll, the villain rolls. Connect with me on all platforms. And it's faith, family, and then football. We use football. We use football to spend time with our family, create those memories. We don't let football use us. So, good morning, everybody. Hello to everybody. That's right. It's Hump Day. It's Hump Day. Yeah. And today, we're going to be talking not just Lions. I gotta throw some daps out there to the Detroit Tigers. Now, I mean, I know that I'm normally all Lions, but, you know, I have adopted the Tigers over the last few months onto this programming right here just because I'm bored during the offseason for the Lions, and the Tigers are in the playoffs. And the Tigers...
Playoffs?
They won their first playoff game against the Guardians. So that's what I wanted to start about. I wanted to start the show off giving the Tigers some love, and I wanted to talk about a few things with that. So Good morning to my peeps in here. Rick C, what's up?
You just made the list.
Davey's in the house.
You just made the list.
Tyler's in the house.
You just made the list.
John's in the house.
You just made the list.
So go Tigers. Okay, let's talk about the Detroit Tigers because this is wild because they lost 13 of their last 16. They choked the division away. And everybody was screaming with the collapse. You know, I'm just sitting here. It's like watching a car wreck. It was awful. But here's the thing. If they finish the job against Cleveland today, then it doesn't mean anything. None of the collapse means nothing. None of it. After all the pain, all the frustration, and with the bye that we were chasing anyway, and that's the beauty of the madness of October baseball. So, what I'm asking you, is this a cleansing of the demons, or is this just brushing dirt over cracks that we've already seen? Because anything can happen in October. So, I mean, we've talked about this, 100 times with the Lions, right? The Lions last year, we won 15 games. The team's so good. Look at all these regular season wins that we got, and we got the bye. We are beating our chest. We head into the first round, and pop, we get beat by an upstart team. Yeah, they lost 13 of 16 games, but it doesn't mean anything. The regular season doesn't mean anything. Everybody starts at 0-0. And then they win their first game with Scooble, and if they beat the Guardians, then that collapse didn't mean anything. Zero meaning. You're in the divisional round. That's where you would have been if you would have got a bye anyway. So, and that's one of the things that I said yesterday where it's just like, baseball's a funny thing. I mean, in football, it seems like the streakiness stuff happens during the game. Like during the game, you're moving through all of the streaks, all of those different things. But in baseball, it's from like game to game to game to game. The streaks happen, when you're stringing games together. And there's ups and there's downs. And when it's clicking, that's awesome. And wouldn't that be something if the Tigers right now were, starting the beginning of a big winning streak? Because it's happened all season long. I mean, they still won a lot of games. They had the best record in baseball throughout most of the season. So that those, 10-game winning streaks, they, 13 of 16. They could win 13 of 16. That's possible because they've done that this year. So what if right now is the beginning of a 13 of 16 winning streak? That would make the Tigers the World Series champions. That means that they're going to win the World Series if they start a winning streak. Now, granted, the bats ain't doing the pitching any help right now. That was a masterpiece yesterday from Tariq Skubal. 14 strikeouts. He mowed through all of the hitters, and they still only won by one run. And I watched that ninth inning. That was stressful. Crazy ninth inning. But I'm the one that likes to look at the positives from the situation, and Will Vest That was about as much clutch pitching that you could ask out of anybody. That was clutch. I mean, you're talking about an error where you throw the ball to first base and it ends up along the right field wall. That runner, Ramirez, goes all the way to third base. 0 outs. 0 outs, a guy on third. That's what Will Vest had to deal with last night. And he was awesome. He was awesome. Will Vest strikes out the first guy, swinging, and then makes a great defensive play, trapping Ramirez in between third base and home, and then getting him out there, and then popping up the next guy. It was just, that was a special moment. I would hate to think that they could lose the next 2 games and then just be out of the playoffs, because that was a good special moment by Will Vest last night. I know Scooble is awesome. We need Scooble to be awesome. We need Scooble to win every third game for the rest of the postseason. You got to be able to count on him throughout the postseason. And if the Lions go on a 10 or the Tigers go on a 10-game, if the Tigers go on a 10-game winning streak right now, that's crazy to think about it. Get that in your feels, because it's possible. Now, they could drop the game and go to a third game and go back to Cleveland. I get that. But they could just win. They could just win today. So, how are you feeling about the Tigers? What are your feels on the Tigers? You want me to change the subject? I know I usually talk about Lions. We talk about Lions all the time. They got a big game. They got a big game this week. And you know what? It's just, when it comes with the Cincinnati Bengals, you know, it's a must-win game for the Lions in that way. You can't lose that game. That's the pressure that's on that game. But if you don't want to talk about baseball, that's fine. But I thought it was worth to note, you know, Tigers getting a win in the playoffs. You know, they made it into the playoffs.
Playoffs?
They put Scooble on the mound. Scooble dominates like he usually does. 14 strikeouts. Throwing the heat. I think that he struck out those guys with like 100 mile an hour on all of them. He's just throwing the ball right by the guys. And then Will Vest puts up a gem in the 9th inning, and they win game 1. And then they got game 2. Today at 1 o'clock. And they can finish the job. Doesn't even need to be another game. There doesn't need to be another game. They could go to the divisional series and just say whatever. You know, and does that just take that whole thing, all of that bad talk, it just throws it out the window, doesn't it? I mean, that was a lot of drama at the end, right? You're trying to, oh man, we want to win the bye. We want to get the bye so we can go and not even have to play in the first round. Win the division. They choked the division away. But does it mean anything? As Lions fans, we should know all about this. It doesn't mean a damn thing. I mean, sure, a division title is nice. You know, you want to hang it up there. You want to win that division crown, but it doesn't mean anything if the Tigers just beat the Guardians. How do you like your division title now? You like that division title, Guardians? Who gives a crap? You lost in the first round. So that's what's on the line. That whole skid could mean nothing. Oh, the Tigers lost 13-16 at the end of the... Who cares? You're going to be in the divisional round anyway. Just do it. Just win. Now, of course, if you choke it away and you lose the next 2 games, then you're out of the playoffs, okay, then we'll have a different conversation. But right now, we live in the here and the now. And then in the here and the now, the Tigers have a chance to go to the division round, which is where they would have been anyway if they would have won the division. They got a bye. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that? Central Scrutinizer. That's right. Scooble. He's on the top of the list.
You just made the list!
Rick C. says the Lions lead the league in sacks, face a trash O-line and a backup QB this week. And Hutch goes head-to-head with the worst offensive tackle in the NFL the following week. Brad's chefing up some serious crow right now.
You've had enough of that shit.
Hey, he gets to say it, man. I did show after show after show on here. Everybody talking about how Brad messed. Oh, my God, I can't believe. I mean, I was on the Za'Darius hype train. I wanted Za'Darius to come here. I thought they were going to sign him. I did. Thought they were going to sign Za'Darius, and then they didn't. And then then he goes to Philadelphia. And everyone's like, oh my God, what? Look at how Brad messed up. It's like, what do you mean he messed up? How could you say that Brad didn't mess up? They didn't get Micah Parsons. They didn't get anybody. They didn't da-da-da-da-da. And they're like, we're good. Oh yeah, Brad. You say you're good. How's that working out for you? Well, lead the league in sacks. So that's how it's working out for us. Brad's serving it up. He's got that crow. He's got a little Dijon mustard on there. And that's the thing. Everybody talked their trash about it. Oh, I can't believe they didn't get any. We're good. We like our guys. We like Al-Quadin Muhammad. We like our schematics. We like our defensive tackles eating up blockers so our linebackers have straight shots at the quarterback. So Hutchinson can win some one-on-ones. So Al-Quadin Muhammad can win some one-on-ones. What a gem Al-Quadin Muhammad is. And we're still talking Tigers, too. If you want to throw your Tigers comments into the chat, that's cool, too. We can talk some Tigers still, too. But Rick changed us right over here to this pass rush. And that's a great point in there. This is a wounded Bengals team. And the thing is, this is the NFL. You got to take advantage of that. Go through that. And you need to get after him. You need to throw Jake Browning on his back 7 or 8 times in this game. They have no business not dominating this game on defense. I'm there with you, Rick. They have no business not dominating this game on defense and even on offense. I mean, this is the most cupcake defense that you faced, with all due respect to Trey Hendrickson. This is a defense, first you face the Green Bay Packers, and as much as I hate to admit it, they got a really good defense. Then you face the Chicago Bears. You can say whatever you want to say about them, whatever. That's hot garbage. They ran the score up, though. And then they face the Ravens, which have a really good defense, normally. We'll have to see how that shakes out. But I think that at the end of the year, you'll be talking about how the Ravens have a good defense. And then you face the Browns, maybe the best defense in the NFL. And now, week 5, you face the Bengals, who are not anywhere near. Nobody's talking about anything. The Chicago Bears have a way better defense than the Bengals. So I know this is the NFL. These are all NFL players. And there is the any given Sunday rule. And that goes true for any Sunday. But the Lions, I'm with Jamal. I think the Lions got a 50 burger. We got a 50 burger sitting right there. Brad Holmes with the chef hat on. With all his players. Johnny Morton sitting right next to him with his chef hat on. And he's flipping them. He's flipping up a 50 burger, dude. We're going to feed the homeless with that 50 burger. Make so many burgers. Nobody's going hungry. Jameson Williams is chomping at the bit. I mean, let's be honest here. You got to go take care of business, guys. I don't know what the line is. It's got to be at least 10. The Bengals have no business being anywhere near this game. So as far as my preview goes, is like, let's run it up. Let's run it up. Let's show no mercy. No retreat. No surrender. Need some We need some cheesy 80s metal music that goes with that. No retreat, no surrender. Going to Cincinnati. Take out your 5 fingers. And what did the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap. Slap. Go in there and take care of business, Lions. Don't even make it interesting. We don't want interesting. Who cares about interesting? I mean, this is a good... What a... You know, it sucks to have injuries in the NFL. But when you got your best cornerbacks going down... When you got your best cornerbacks going down, this is the kind of game that you want to go into. It is the part that scares me, though. You know, if there's any part about the Bengals that give me pause, it's the fact that they have T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, 2 of the better wide receivers in the NFL, and our 2 starting cornerbacks are not going to be playing. Now, I think that that means that, Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph are going to be helping in that regard. But that's the only part that gives me pause. So if there's a part that gives you pause, then let me know what that is in the comments. You guys want the Macho Man, huh? Oh, gosh, you guys. Let me see if I can find. I got to find me. Let me go find me a Macho Man. I should. Oh, you guys are awesome. Trying to find me a Macho Man. But you know what I did today? I did make a. Let me see if I can find my Amik. I got to put my Amik Robertson up here. Well, I thought so. I've been making a lot of the baby videos, guys, and I don't know how y'all feel about these kind of things. But let me get these in here. All right, I got a little surprise here for you that I'm getting ready. Let me get in here. A little confidence and a little bit of swagger right here. This is the baby Amik Robertson right here. I'm debuting him. Here he comes out. I hope that you guys are going to be able to hear this when it comes through, but here's baby Amik Robertson.
Confident in myself, man. I know when this shit go to, rolling, it's I'm a bad individual, so like I said, just build off of this game, watch the tape, and come out there next game with even more energy, more swagger, and more aggression.
That's right. That's right. That's Amik Robertson right there. That's baby Amik. Always coming through in a clutch. He says, don't even go out. He's not worried about. He's not worried about our cornerback injuries. Baby Amik's ready to go out there. And he's ready to lock it down. Go out there with a little bit of energy and a little bit of swagger. And just be aggressive. I feel confident with Amik going out there. Yeah, Central. We're not looking ahead yet. We're not going to go ahead. The thing is we have our schedules, and the schedules work the way that they do. It helps you do that one game at a time. We always have the previews. We got 3 days to preview this next team, which is the Cincinnati Bengals. And at first glance, I'm looking at these Cincinnati Bengals, and I'm looking at these Cincinnati Bengals, and I'm looking at one that you should be winning. You should be winning this game. There's no doubt in my mind. So, Amik Robertson, and this is a crazy thing about Amik. Everybody assumes because Amik is 5'9" that he is delegated to the slot corner. Now, that's where he is. That's where he's been playing. That's where he's been needed. But Amik Robertson is best served as far as his skill set and the way that he's played, and the numbers back this up, is that he's a better outside corner. He plays better outside, covering your best wide receiver. And I think Amik is going to have a chance to make a name for himself out there and continue that, because, he's most famous for last year when they put him on the outside. He covered this wide receiver. His name's Justin Jefferson, and put the clamps on it. And when you put him in the middle, that's fine, but he plays better on the outside. He plays better being able to use the sideline as part of his defense. I don't know. I think it's gonna be a just fine thing. You got Khalil Dorsey, who, welcome back. Gosh, it's nice to see that he came back. But you want to talk about a grinder? Somebody that I identify with is Khalil Dorsey. He came back from a pretty bad injury, but Khalil Dorsey was one of those UDFA guys, like the villain, the UDFA, the undrafted free agent, the unwanted, the overlooked. And he worked his way onto the roster. It was just a practice squad thing. Learned, grinded. And now here we are. I think this is year 3 for him. And he's grinded his way to where he makes the roster. And now he's needed. And I have no doubt in my mind that Khalil Dorsey is going to be able to step right in and play well. I mean, as a matter of fact, he may even be more fundamentally. He doesn't have the athletic ability that a DJ Reed or a Terrion Arnold have, but he knows where he's supposed to be. He may be a smarter player than both of those guys in the position, just knowing the defense and where he's supposed to be. But that's just because he's been here longer. But having guys like that on the roster, and, you know, big shout out.
We're going to bite a kneecap off
To Khalil Dorsey. I think he's going to step in. And then guys like Rock Sin, guys like Avonte Maddox. That's why they went out and got all that cornerback depth. So I'm glad that the attrition of injuries is happening in a position where I think that we can survive. And I'm glad that it isn't on the defensive end again, where it's all the same thing. So, and we got some guys coming back too. Let's go. Let's go. Aleem McNeil. That's so nice. One thing that we know about Aleem McNeil. Let's talk about Aleem McNeil. Because, I mean, we have all week to really talk about the matchup. Throw any questions that you have in here. Let me look in some of these comments. Want to make sure I at least highlight everybody that's on here that's different. Ken Fisher. He says, was it me or did Jameson seem like he wasn't showing his best effort Sunday? He looked a little lackluster. And if that's the word. Sure. I think that you could I think that you could present that case all day long, Ken. Did Jameson look a little lackluster? I don't think he had a good game. I don't know if I'd put it into the if I would be ready. I don't think I would be prepared to put it on his effort, but he had a bad game for sure. And you know, yeah, there's 2 passes that you really wanted to see him catch, right? Because I think that's really what Jameson Williams is going to be. I mean, if people think that Jameson Williams is going to come in and be a 12 to 13 catch a game guy like, you know, Justin Jefferson and do that type of thing, we have too many weapons for that. Jameson Williams is going to have 4 or 5 shots in a game. And he may catch a couple over the middle, you know, shorter passes. But for the most part, they're going to use Jameson Williams to exploit defenses and make them be honest. You know, Jared Goff put 2 balls on him that were right right in that breadbasket. You should have caught both of them. Right in your hand. One of them might have went for a touchdown. Actually, both of them might have went for a touchdown. So the opportunities are going to be there for him, Ken. So I'm not going to put it on his effort, but he had two really, really good opportunities to have 100 yards receiving in that game. And that's what it's going to be with Jameson. You know, Laporta and Amon-Ra are going to get the bulk of the catches, you know. 5 yard, ta-da, ta, ha, ha. Just all that little stuff. Little 5 yard outs. Eating up all the yaks. Jameson Williams, his stat lines are always going to be like 4 to 6 catches. And the number being between 4 and 6, if it gets to the 6, he's going to have over 100 yards. The guy's going to average over 20 yards a catch this year. No doubt in my mind. But you're not going to see him go out. He's not going to catch 12 balls. I doubt that he has any games where he catches more than 10 balls. But I do think that he's going to have a game that is like a stat line where it's like 7 catches for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. I think he will have that. He will have that day. I mean, it was close to that. Think about how close that was, Ken. Think about how close that was for him to having that kind of game. If he catches both of those balls, those both could have went for touchdowns. That would have been 170 yards. Just on 2 catches. So that's what Jameson Williams is. Regardless, he had a bad game. I don't know if it's out of effort. I wouldn't worry about it there. But thanks for the comment. I like that call. Brian Branch and Amik are very similar. They do. Yes. Yes. And if you remember, Brian Branch did play slot corner his first year in the league. And I'm pretty sure it was exclusive. And then they moved him to safety his second year. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm right. But Amik, I think Brian Branch and Amik, here's the difference. I think that Brian Branch could double as a linebacker. I think Brian Branch could play linebacker. You know, that slot linebacker, and you move him in. Amik, he moves the other way. Amik, you can move him to cornerback, you know, and move him to the outside. Ooh, there's a hot take. Right now, Amik is an upgrade from TA. It's the other corner spot that I'm concerned with. And I can't disagree with that. And it's not from a physical attribute type of thing. It's like his thing is mental. And I do think that he'll get over. Once he gets over that mental, whatever he's going through, he'll be fine. I believe that. You know, but some guys never get over that mental. But it feels like TA is one of those type of guys. They do put a lot on his plate. If Jamo catches those passes, we put 50 on the Browns. Yeah. It was a damn shame, really. Because when you look at Goff's stats, you know, gosh, he dropped 2 of those balls right in perfect throw. Goff is on fire, man.
It's my quarterback.
Goff's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And I think that Amon-Ra St. Brown is the best wide receiver in the league. Not Justin Jefferson. Better than Jamar Chase. Better than CeeDee Lamb. Better than A.J. Brown. He's better than all them fools. Amon-Ra St. Brown is the best wide receiver in the NFL. The best. Number one. Not top 5, not top 3. He's definitely top 2, and he's not 2. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown. There can be only one, and it is the sun god, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I think the connection between Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jared Goff is like no other connection in the NFL. It's the best wide receiver quarterback.
It's my quarterback.
Combination in the NFL. What? Name me a better one. Name me a better wide receiver right now than Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's the best. And Goff, Jared Goff is right there. I don't know if I'm willing to crown him yet like I'm willing to crown Amon-Ra, but Jared Goff is right there. You look at that last game. He dropped 2 of those passes right into the bread box, perfectly thrown for Jameson Williams to do his job. I ain't going to hate on you all that much, Jameson Williams, but you got to make those plays. You got to catch those balls. Because then you're looking at Jared Goff with, 275 yards passing and 2 more touchdowns. And he put those balls right there where it was supposed to be. But now, some stupid stat troll is going to look at that stat line and be like, oh, where's that completion percentage, Goff? What happened? I thought that Jared Goff was supposed to be this super completion guy. What happened? Don't be hurting my boy, Jameson. Don't be hurting my boy. He gave you those balls. Perfect. Perfectly thrown. Should have had 160-yard more offense. But I think that he knows that. I have confidence. Do you have confidence in Jameson? You got confidence in Jameson Williams that he's going to turn it around? Maybe he needs to sit after practice with Amon-Ra St. Brown on that jugs machine. Get over there. Get over there, Jameson. Get on that there jugs machine. I need you catching 227 balls from the jugs machine. Maybe I should say it's like the Englishmen. Jameson, Jivio, could you come over here and could you spend some time with the jugs machine and catch, say, 227 balls to work on your technique, so to speak? Please, J-Mo, work on them hands. Work on them hands, buddy. You got like 25 million reasons that you need to work on them hands. I mean, that's your own opportunity right there, Jameson. That's your opportunity right there. You want to be great? You want to be one of the greatest wide receivers of all time, Jameson? You can be. You can be one of the greatest to ever play the game, Jameson Williams. Jared Goff is going to give you that opportunity because he's going to throw pretty spirals. He's going to throw these deep balls, and he's going to put them on your hands. And then you just got to use your God-given ability and outrun everybody to the touchdown. Come on, Jameson. If you reach your full potential, we could potentially have the 2 best wide receivers in the NFL. Like, if you could make a wide receiver and you put Jameson Williams' speed into Amon-Ra St. Brown, it would be over. So Amon-Ra St. Brown needs to just rub off a little bit onto Jameson Williams, the work ethic and the clutch gene. Help him out, Amon-Ra. Give him some of those things to work on, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
You just made the list.
Give him a list. Give him a list. John says that he'll make up for it. It was just a bad day for him. I agree. I was just being a little bit dramatic right there. How are we feeling about Trey Flowers? That gives me flashbacks, Paul Jones. And then when I realize that it's not the Trey Flowers that took the city of Detroit for like $80 million, then I take a sigh of relief. Exhale. And then I realize that Trey Flowers is a practice squad guy that they're going to bring up to speed. You know, Rick says that he sums it up right there. The thing is the Lions work from the bottom up. And what do I mean by that? From the bottom up, meaning you're not bringing in somebody from the outside to have them jump the line. The Lions have guys that have been working and learning and scratching and clawing their way up the depth chart. That's why bringing in, big name defensive ends to come in and take somebody else's spot that's been clawing and working. It's just that, you can agree with it or not agree with it, but that's the way that it is. That's the merit system that they have. So DJ Reed and Terrion Arnold went down, but Rock Ya-Sin, Khalil Dorsey, those guys have been there. They deserve that opportunity, to be the ones that come in and play. And then guys like Trey Flowers, while they're getting onto the practice squad, they're going to get acclimated. And he who knows? Who knows? He may be a meh. That's kind of the way I look at that too. He may be a meh, but if he works his ass off, that this system of, Brad Holmes and Kelvin Shepard, that merit system, if he works his ass off, he can make his way up to be a contributor on the team. Right? I don't think anybody would disagree with that. Skip says, the one that got J-Mo all twisted and turned, I can't hate him on that. He didn't get turned in time to fully locate the ball. Yes, the ball was there, but he didn't find it yet. Yeah, I don't hate on him for it. That's why I'm not going to, and I agree with you, Skip. And that is my take on it, is, I'm not going to overreact because it was. But you do want to see him make that play because at the end of the day, he did get turned around and it did hit his hands. And, and that's the kind of stuff that can be corrected with repetition, in technique of how you do turn your body around to do it with the least amount of movement. They can train that kind of stuff in there. And that's where I think that somebody like Amon-Ra St. Brown can help him. It's not that he's bad at running the route. It's the game within the game, the details of how they run the route. Word around the campfire is that Amon-Ra St. Brown is so detailed, one of the most detailed, best route running wide receivers in the NFL. That's why I think he is the best, because it's so much details. He's got stems off of his stems. He's an impossible cover. And, but no, we use the merit system here. Central Scrutinizer says the secondary will be fine. I believe that it will be fine. They have next man up mentality, and it's worked. Last year they did it into like the practice squad and bringing guys in off the street. They were getting guys ready and putting them in there. This is a different situation. We're not even in critical mass yet. We have probably 4 guys that could come in and that are going to play at a high level, that have been there since the beginning of training camp, that made the team, that are ready to go. Secondary will be fine. 4 more deep. We're not at critical mass yet. Last year was different, When you're bringing a guy in off the street that doesn't, Jamal Adams, he didn't have one practice with us up until that point. You're not going to learn 6 weeks worth of information in a week. They dummied it down. They still were able to make it work. Now, these guys are different. Khalil Dorsey, Rock Ya-Sin, Avonte Maddox, those guys have been there since the first day of training camp, learning the defense. So when they say next man up, it's for real. That's why the secondary will be fine. And Trey Flowers, he's on the practice squad now, right? He's going to have to do a lot to be able to, leap those guys and to get in there. Brad will find a guy. MCDC said we need 1 for the practice squad, and that's what it is. And, and sometimes he finds guys that are good. You never know. Like, to me, it doesn't matter what they did beforehand. If they bring them onto this squad, they see something that could be helpful. We have our star players, the guys that are the ones that are coming in off the street. I think they designed their defense to where there are jobs that are easier within the defense and the offense, that you can have guys that could come in and you can always ask your studs to do more. You can always put a little bit more on Brian Branch, a little bit more on to Jack Campbell, a little bit more on to Anzalone, a little bit more on to Barnes, a little bit more on to Hutchinson, a little bit more on to DJ Reader. Just a little bit. Everybody's shoulders a little bit more, and then they take a little bit of the load off of whoever the new guy is. Believe me, they'll be able to protect those new players and insulate them with the awesomeness of our good players. So, and like I said, this is a good game for them to beat down those guys right there. I think that they'll have a good plan to guard T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. And they're going to want to be able to get to Browning and get him on the ground. I think it's going to be a pressure game. And they're going to be looking to help these secondary guys. Hell, you might even see the new look secondary, like, maybe Amik or Rock Ya-Sin, they get interceptions. Because I think that the game plan is going to be to get pressure on Browning quickly. Give him a hard time because they ain't going to be able to run on us. They're not going to be able to run on us with Chase Brown. This is the weakest rushing attack that we've faced yet. It would be surprising if they would be able to run on us. We got a few guys coming back after the bye, including Aleem McNeil. And it's a beautiful thing. And I was trying to think to myself, what would be the reason that you would open up the practice window for Aleem McNeil if you were going to wait until after the bye? And then it made sense to me. And I think that the plan is to bring him back after the bye. And then you have him in the Vikings game. And the thing is if you get him to the elevated roster, if you can get him practicing a week early, he's allowed to do different things. Like right now, because he's on IR, there's certain things that he's not allowed to do with the team. Be in certain rooms and, just going by the rules. And if they activate his 21-day window, then he's allowed to take part in all those activities. And then they have 21 days, which will take us through, let's look at this. Let's share this tab. Put that one in there. Yeah, we got. So 21 days. That's this. Like if they activate him this week, that's this week. So right around in here, they would have to choose to activate him. So I don't think that he would play. I could see him not playing in the Bengals game, the Chiefs game, even if they activate him right now in this theory world here. Because we're on October, and this game is on October 20th. So they could actually elevate him to the roster at that point right there. He wouldn't play in that game, or they could do it the day after this game. And then he would just have the whole bye week where he would be on the main roster, and then he would play. So that is the benefit. So if you ask what the benefit is of elevating him and having him in that 21-day window, that's the benefit. The whole 21 days, that's Cincinnati, that's Kansas City, and that's Tampa Bay. And then you elevate him the day after the Tampa Bay game. And you got 2 weeks with the bye week. And then Aleem McNeil's first game is with the Minnesota Vikings. Right there. That's my take. Right there. November 2nd. And that's awesome. That would be awesome. Because I thought it was Thanksgiving. I mean, Thanksgiving was the earliest you're thinking. And he must have been working his ass off. If we're just like 4 weeks away having a Liam McNeil back. What a huge boost that is. Now, we got to make it through this little gauntlet because we're going to have to see what's going on with the Chiefs. We're going to have to see Tampa Bay. That's another story. But we got to take care of business this week. You need to be sitting at 4-1 before you hit that stretch of 2 really hard games. Gear yourself up for it. So, good news. I love it, man. For everybody that just popped on, I just wanted to say hello. It's Hump Day.
You like that?
It's Hump Day. You know, talking a little bit about the Lions versus the Bengals on Sunday. We're talking a little bit about the Detroit Tigers. How about them Detroit Tigers? Winning game 1 of the series. And I made the argument in here that if the Tigers win today, then that losing 13 of 16 and then choking away the division, all of that doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean a damn thing. I make that argument. They have a chance to flush all of that bad mojo, all that bad juju right down the toilet. Flush it down the toilet. Because there you'll be in the divisional series where you wanted to be with the bye anyway. And the Guardians were the ones that caught you. You got a chance today to flush it down the toilet. And then the Lions, you just got to take care of business, man. This is a business trip. They should be going in there and slapping around the Bengals and then leaving. That's my opinion. This episode of the Lion Villain Report is brought to you by Fanatics.com. Yeah, that's right. If you are down with the 313, if you bleed that Honolulu blue, then you need to gear up like the real one over at Fanatics, our official merch partner. I'm talking official Lions jerseys, blackout hoodies, throwback Tigers gear, WWE gear, and Red Wings gear. And really, you can get gear from any of the teams that you shop. So here's what you do. You click that link in the description, in the comments. Save up to 25% off of your order from our official affiliate marketing partners at Fanatics. Every click supports the channel, the page, and lets the world know that Detroit fans do it bigger, they do it better. Villain Squad doesn't do knockoffs. We do official. We do Fanatics. Get yours. Thank you for helping us knock down the door of 100,000 followers on Facebook. And thank you for helping us start this YouTube journey as well. We're approaching 1,000 subscribers on there. You could be the 1,000th subscriber. That's how close we are to going over that. So we appreciate anybody that supports the page by liking, commenting, and sharing this content, asking questions, creating conversation. That's right, football conversation. This is a community of football fans, and it's faith, family, and then football. In that order, it's important. We put our faith first. We use football. Create memories. We use football. Don't let football use you. And may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again in Jesus' name. Amen. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for being part of the show, being part of the chat. I will see you in tomorrow's episode. Peace out.